So in case you haven't known, the NCAA has been making extreme policy changes in recent years in a plethora of different areas. The NCAA is the National Collegiate Athletic Association, and it's America's reigning college sports governing body. It's the biggest one we've got. They've made many political element changes over time. 5 of them are NIL, name, image, and likeness, the transfer portal system, COVID eligibility extensions, roster limits and budget reallocations, and benefits for athletes. They can be good, they can be bad. We're just going to get into the general climate for an audience's well-rounded knowledge of it. So as far as name, image, and likeness goes, the NCAA states it officially changed its policies in 2021. Athletes can now receive money for brand deals, whereas previously, if they received any kind of money while they were doing their sport, they would be deemed ineligible. So they can't profit off of anything that you do. It affects the sport by allowing athletes to get money for the work they're putting in and support themselves. Fans are now able to support their favorite athletes directly with these deals. And then schools now have new recruiting tactics. There's an entire new environment of trying to get people seen in schools. And that's just NIL. Moving on to the transfer portal. The NCAA transfer portal is like a school switching system for student athletes. Previously, it was really stringent, and you couldn't play for a year after you switched schools. They did away with that rule, and now student athletes can switch schools more easily, play immediately. Greenspoon Martyr Law said that institutions lack education for athletes on the rules in the transfer portal, which is a big problem, and they actually can get into some legal trouble with taxes and finances though because of this. So while the transfer portal has been good for getting athletes back in the game quicker, it also is a little bit problematic because there's a lack of knowledge surrounding it. Also kind of problematic is the COVID-19 eligibility extensions. COVID-19 gave us a gap year. We couldn't run, we couldn't do the sports that we wanted to do in college, and so they gave us a season back. But what ended up happening was athletes over time are now older, have had more training, and it's really drastically changed the entire climate of NCAA sports. The Grand Valley Lanthorn Journal says that colleges have had a hard time managing rosters with all of these extra athletes, and supporting COVID-19 athletes is a financial challenge as well to keep them on campus. You're devoting time and effort into someone, but it's also hard to keep more students coming in while you're holding on to the COVID athletes. Speaking of rosters, they have also had budget reallocations, and roster limits have been associated with that. Because of previous changes, like the NIL, like COVID athletes, there's been a massive reallocation of spending money. They had to move stuff around, and scholarship limits have been put in place. Roster limits have also been put in place and may need to be enforced to keep new benefits of the NCAA policies thriving. ESPN says that all sports will see a roster cut, eliciting uncertainty for athletes' futures. For example, soccer, rosters will shrink to more than 10%, which is crazy. That's a lot of athletes that are just not playing anymore. It's a drastic change. But on the bright side, the NCAA is doing a lot for athletes' benefits as well. The NCAA now advertises financial benefits and stipends for athletes going to school, and they're also offering these stipends for housing as well. In addition, the University of Bridgeport cites these new NCAA rules as a way to obtain a quality education while practicing a love for sports. The NCAA is really trying to dig in and make it to where athletes can do their sport while still maintaining their mental health and maintaining a lifestyle that's conducive for going out in the future and being a productive adult. So in conclusion, the elements of these policy changes have all occurred in recent years, and they are changing the game immensely. they have both negative and positive effects. Like, obviously supporting athletes' mental health is a huge, great thing, but roster cuts, that's a tough break for so many people. These elements play with each other as well. So NIL is going to affect the way that these roster cuts are managed, and the COVID-19 athletes are going to affect the way we reallocate money. It's just all intertwined, and it's a very complex issue. But yeah, that's a little lowdown on the current state of NCAA policies in our sports today. Thank you.